Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rosalim C. Oriata and I am going to discuss the time management. What is time? Time is the basic currency in education. Like money, time needs to be managed in order to have an efficient and effective classroom. Napakahalaga ng oras sa edukasyon. Para sa ating bilang magiging guro, napakahalaga na ma-manage natin ng maayos ang oras natin para magkaroon tayo ng efficient and effective classroom. Let's proceed to the definition of time management. Time management increases productivity and self-confidence. Kaya karamihan ng mga taong productive, ng may kumpiyansa sa sarili, na ma-manage nila ng maayos yung oras nila. And time management reduces stress and improves self-esteem. Mas napapahalagahan natin yung sarili natin kapag meron tayong maayos na time management. Dahil kung maayos yun, nakakaligo tayo, nagagawa natin yung mga kailangan nating gawin, nare-reduce din yung stress. Tapos, this time management also helps us to achieve balance in life and reach our goal. Managing ourselves in relation to time. And time management is about setting priorities and taking charge of your situation and time utilization. And there are two elements of instructional time. Tayo bilang magiging guro, napakahalaga na bigyan nating pansin kung ano itong dalawang elemento sa instructional time. And these are allocated time and actual time. When we say allocated time, it is about time for school overall, including non-academic activities. While actual time is about time spent on academic activities. So, actual time is the way which time is actually used regardless of plans or intentions. There are variables affecting actual time: starts and stop times, transitional times, time on task, opportunities to respond, matching student ability, and interruptions. There are 3 levels of allocated time naman. There is school time, class time, and instructional time. School time is the amount of time students are in school. There are factors affecting school time: the length of the day and the students' absences. While in class time, it is about amount of time students are in your classroom. And the last one is instructional time, amount of in which students are engaged in instructional activities. The factors affecting instructional time are organizational activities and interruptions. How to manage actual time? In managing actual time, we have to manage disruptions that occur during planned activities. For students who disrupt class, we have to reinforce, as a teacher, we have to reinforce appropriate behavior or provide warning or lost privileges when misbehaving. How to manage instructional time? It can be managed by the teacher, the students, and the parents. And the students' jobs is to maintain a high level of academic productivity, coming to class with a pencil, paper, and book, coming to class on time, in seat and working when the bell rings, coming to class with homework complete, transitioning quickly and quietly, and following classroom rules. The teacher's job in managing instructional time is to save time by organizing materials the day before we are going to use them, and select extracurricular activities carefully, with attention on their educational value, not on their entertainment value. How to manage instructional time? We can use the Big Rocks criteria. It is when selecting the importance of educational activities. First, we have to think that instructional time as an empty jar. And the big rocks are the most important activities. And the activities is state-mandated activities by 3 R's: reading, write, and religion. And the small rocks are the least important activities. And if we have to get the most rocks in the jar, we have to put the big ones in first, and the small ones will fill up the spaces left by the big rocks. Using digital timer also can help us to manage our time and reward the students for work, productivity, and accuracy. The faster they work, the more time we will have to do other more fun things. And we can also use to limit planning interruptions. To manage our time, we can also use the arrangement of activities in logical sequence. We can use basic skill instruction before lunch. It is called peak level functioning. And there was structured periods of low alertness with praise and participation, and it is called active student responding. We can use the Grandma's law. It is about Premack principle, which induces a low probability of behavior by making a high probability outcome contingent upon it. If you want your ice cream, eat your piece first. And we can schedule an activity that students like immediately after one that they don't like. In managing instructional time, we can give students frequent opportunities, frequent to respond, OTR, during instruction. Example, giving guided notes or respond boards. This is the most efficient way to do this is through active student responding or ASR. And we can also match materials and assignments to students' abilities or skill level. Individual instruction example is peer tutoring or ability grouping. What is transition? Transition time is the time it takes to change from one activity to another, and examples are changing from one subject to another, moving seats from group activity, or changing classrooms. Transitioning is often the largest thief of instructional time, so we have to teach students how to transition quickly and quietly, just like we and would any other subject. And we have to prepare in advance for each lesson or activity for the entire day. All materials should be prepared before school and place where they are to be used. And we have to teach students how to handle transitions. What makes efficient transition? Well-planned and taught transition procedures, clear expectations of student behavior during transition, student readiness to end a current activity and to begin a new one, and teacher readiness for the next activity. And there are 3 benefits of teaching transitions. It minimizes the amount of non-academic time students spend in school, provides teachers with more academic instruction time, and decreases the number of behavior problems that occur during unstructured time. Tips for transition. Have a clear signal for transitions. Use a timer and tell students how long their transition takes. Use praise more often than you do during work times. From time to time, review the rules and provide time warnings. And there are typical problems with transitions. Students talk loudly at beginning of period. So as a teacher, we have to establish a routine with clear expectations and have activity ready to begin at once. And also the problem is teacher delays activities to look for materials, finish attendance, pass papers, etc. All we have to do is have materials organized ahead of time and avoid doing anything that interferes with your monitoring during transitions. And the students socialize too much during transitions, especially after assignment is given, but before they begin working on it. Students don't start the activity for several minutes, So we have to dispose the assignment. For whole group, work on first few items together. For small group, assign task focuser for each group. Monitor all work. Typical problems with transitions is also that students leave their seats, come ask the teacher questions, request hold fast, sharpen pencils, etc. during transitions. And as a teacher, we have to review transition rules, provide specified times to talk to teacher and procedures for pencil sharpener. And also the problem is 5 or more minutes before the period ends, students quit working, put up books, and begin to socialize. Often desks are left out of order and paper on the floor. So we have to establish end of period routine so students will work until you give or we give signal to pack up. Include cleaning their area. So we will dismiss the students, not the bell.
Good afternoon, everyone, especially to our subject teacher, Ma'am Hannah. My name is Maribel Ruz, and I am here to report the topic, which is tips for times management. In the next slide, I will discuss the different tips for time management. The number one tips is schedule your time. In scheduling your time, you need to schedule every bit of your time. Don't go anywhere without a valid reason or a plan. Much better, you will use a calendar or a chart which contains everything that you need to accomplish with a specific due dates. And most important is you need to schedule at least one day for yourself in order to have a rest and relaxed mind. Number two tips is manage distractions to protect your uninterrupted time. In order to manage distractions, we need to find a place or environment that we are comfortable, safe, and least distractions from any kinds of barriers. And then, do not check your emails or even answer your phone calls during the time of doing your task. Number three tips is identify and minimize time robbers. It is a time where an individual leaving their tasks unfinished, socializing with others, cell phone or telephone interruptions, draft and visitors, personal disorganization, inability to say no, procrastination, which means that you are delaying or postponing your given task, and the last is attending meetings with other person. Number 4 tips is prioritize your tasks. In prioritizing your tasks, you need to make a list of your tasks with given due dates and put the task which is needed to accomplish first and last. Then, delegate as much as possible. Learn to say no. When we are a teacher, we need to monitor our duties as a teacher. If you are a faculty member, you need to monitor your duties related to teaching, research, and service. Also, you need to be aware of the time of each activity will take. And lastly, we need to maintain a list of accomplished tasks. In that way, it can give us satisfaction and also can save our time. The number 5 tips is manage your electronic life. In order to manage it, you need to keep your email inbox empty. Next, transform email messages into tasks as appropriate and add them to your task list. Then, monitor your time on the internet and social networking sites in order to use your time wisely. Then, lastly, back up all your work with hard copies and on thumb drives to make sure that if there is a problem with your file, you have other copies of your file. Number 6 tips is choosing your teaching schedule or choose your teaching schedule. As a teacher, the first thing to do is limit our classes we teach to 1 or to 2 per semester. Then arrange our teaching schedule. As a result of the arrangement will allow us for uninterrupted blocks of time on other days. Number 7 tips is control your teaching preparations. As a teacher, we need to create a master syllabus containing the flow of topic and activities of the subject. Next, Don't reinvent a wheel, meaning to say teach a course that has been taught before either by you or someone else. Don't over prepare. It should be limiting your time and teaching preparation. Use technology when only it adds value to gaining information about the topic. Next, occasionally substitute other activities for prepaid lectures. Lastly, stagger your due dates by collecting assignments, quizzes, and tests by different week and every classes. Let's talk about what are the purpose of time management. First one, we manage our time wisely. It can prevent us from suffering a stress. Second, we can achieve a balanced time in every aspect of our life. Third, if we are effectively use our time, we also increase our productivity as a person. Lastly, we can achieve our goals in life if we know how to use our time wisely and effectively in different matter. The building blocks of time management are goals, task list, time management tool. In time management tool, there are different tools such as to-do list like our Google Classroom. Making a chart contains all the tasks needed to accomplish with a given period. Appointment calendar, evaluation sheets, and file folder. So here are the time management tools that we can use in order to have a balanced time without stress, achieving our goals, and the purpose of using our time. So what are the benefits of time management? First, our classroom is more efficient and orderly. The students pay better attention or more on task. And students also are less disruptive. Then they can achieve more. And as a teacher, we will feel like you are in control and be a more effective teacher. What are the most common time management mistakes? Number one, failing to keep a to-do list. So kapag na-fail natin ang paggagawa ng to-do list, hindi tayo nagiging focus at hindi natin masyadong na-manage ang oras natin sa paggagawa ng ating mga activity. Number two, not prioritizing goals. So kapag hindi natin pina-prioritize yung mga goals natin, hindi natin nalalaman kung alin yung urgent na dapat natin gawing activities and then yung mga importanteng gagawin pa nating activities, alin yung mga hindi importante sa importante. So, kapag hindi natin pina-prioritize yung goals natin, hindi natin mas nagagawa ng ayos ang mga activity. Number 3, failing to manage distraction. So, isa rin itong dahilan kaya hindi natin masyadong nagagamit yung ating oras. Katulad na lang yan kapag nagsi-cellphone tayo. Siyempre, nadidistract tayo at nawawala yung focus natin sa paggagawa ng activity. Number 4, procrastination. So, ito yung it delays working on an important but sometimes undesirable task it also brings. So, kapag nangyayari ito sa atin, kadalasan nito nagiging rush tayo sa paggagawa ng mga activity and then sometimes it may result in lower grades and poorer quality of our work. Number 5, inability to say no. So most of us have been taught that no is disrespectful and even insulting. This can lead to poor performance, stress, and low morale. So, yung inability to say no, kadalasan itong nangyayari kapag ang kaharap natin is yung mga tao na nakakapagpasaya sa atin at nagbibigay sa atin ng dahilan para sayangin natin yung oras natin sa walang kwentang bagay o sabihin na lang natin na hindi importanteng masyadong bagay na gagawin natin. Number 6 is multitasking. So, it can take 20 to 40% more time to finish a list of job when you multitask. Kasi kapag ikaw ay multitasking at wala kang list of tasks in the sequence o susunod na gagawin mo, hindi mo mamalayan na yung oras na nakukonsume mo is napakahaba na pala at nasasapawan na o nagagamit mo na yung oras na dapat na sa ibang bagay mo na gagamitin. And the last one is all work and no play. If it is hard for you to stop working, then schedule breaks for yourself. Go for a quick walk, grab a cup of coffee, or just sit and meditate at your desk. So, kung ang oras mo ngayong araw ito ay puro trabaho, di puro trabaho lang. Pero, wag natin kakalimutan na kailangan din natin mag-set aside at least one day for ourselves. Kailangan meron din tayong break and gagamitin natin yon as relax, nagpapahinga lang siya o nagagawa ng mga kawili-wiling bagay katulad na lang ng mga play. Iba't ibang uri ng play na tayo ay marirelax. Are the teaching approaches. The first one is lesson plan. Most lesson plans will give you presentation times, length for activities, and even suggestion on when to take breaks. We have the steps of lesson planning. Number 1, objective. Next, ABH, methodology, introduction, presentation, partial confirmation, and so on. So, in lesson planning, teachers enter the classroom each day fully prepared to teach new concepts and lead meaningful discussions. Teaching approaches is lead-in activity for 10 minutes. Technique used to get students and tasks immediately upon entering the classroom while the teacher takes rule and organize class materials. And lead-in activity and includes few moments of meditations and reflection to help the participants or students calm their spirits and focus on the topic to learn. It should not last for more than 2 or 3 minutes. The third one is quote or word of the day. Student responds to a quote or word written on the board by putting it down in their notebooks. The fourth one is brain teaser question. Students are given a question that will challenge them and get their brains warm up. So, ang halimbawa nito is yung ginagawa ng mga kaklase namin na gumagawa sila ng brain teaser na kung saan ang halimbawa is yung mga words na hindi kompleto para magsilbing overview dun sa topic na ituturo nila o i-report nila. Number 5 is preview for 5 minutes. Make sure students know what is expected of them during your class time. So, discuss each portion in advance so that students know what is in store for them. Have a student recap the previous day lesson by giving a short overview in front of the class. This also promotes communication skills. So next, lecture or notes for 20 to 30 minutes. Students' attention spans are short, but notes and lecture are very necessary. Cover a suitable amount of material so that the main points can be reinforced later in class through activities. Encourage students' input and questioning during lecture time. Next, demonstration, group activity 15 to 20 minutes. Provide a hands-on activity to reinforce the class topic. An example is group assignment, group activity, lab experiment, brainstorming activity, and even demonstration as a group. The last one is lesson overview, 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure that all main points of the lesson have been addressed during this time. Review topics by asking students, what did you learn today? See if they got the message. Have students reflect on their notebooks what they thought were the important topics of the day's lesson. So, dito sa lesson overview, ang halimbawa na lang nito is after the lessons, magtatanong ang teacher kung ano ang natutunan nila ngayon at anong reflection ang maya apply nila in the future o magagamit nila as their source of information sa real-world problem application. Yun lamang po ang aking report and thank you for listening. And if you have questions, please chat here in the chat box. Thank you po.